you had a chance to acquire David Ortiz. So another example that we always get into where you make a change, make a move, and you learn from it. That was one also with David Ortiz you missed out on. Take us through what happened there.
Yeah, and Jimmy, good call. And I think one of the things being a general manager is you learn from things sometimes you don't do or you didn't do for whatever reason. I was only on the job for a very brief time. I had seen Big Papi play the previous winter ball season and loved him. I think he was David Arias at the time. And his name, our mutual friend Terry Ryan called, wanted to move him, wanted to get him out of the league. He had no spot for him. He said, Danny, I'll basically hand him to you. We'll make a small deal if we could just move. And I said, Terry, listen, I love him, but this would be my first move. I'm going to go into our staff, talk to our staff, see what their reports are. Give me till the end of the day. I'll call you back. You know what it's like. It's political when you first come in, right?
Right. That's right.
We didn't like them. Our reports weren't very good. We also didn't cover winter ball very well, and we didn't cover the minor leagues quite as well as I probably would have liked. Jim, I was at an advantage because I had been with the White Sox, so I knew the American League clubs better than most people. It's the way it is when you're working for a team. I had been to winter ball maybe 15 straight years, scouting like heck with my staff, so I felt like I knew the player. And I went back, and I'm not going to say who I called, but I called a longtime mentor of mine. And I said, early in your time with a team, did you ever have a situation where you knew you should make the deal or do something, but everything internally says no? And this guy that I'm really thankful for said, Dan, listen, ultimately you're going to aggravate a lot of people on one of your moves. I don't know if I would start it out with your first one, if you're that emphatic that it's the right move. And he said, let me ask you a question. And, you and I have had these relationships. He said, is this guy going to get in and play right away? No DH. Okay. We had Eric Karros making 15 a year on a no trade. I wasn't going to be able to move him. So I realized, wow, I'd be aggravating the entire staff and balking on the entire staff with nowhere for him to play. Probably not a card I should play, but I shouldn't say I knew he was going to be that good, but I knew he was going to be a really good player. I'd seen it enough in the Dominican. So I called Terry back and I said, Terry, I would love to do it. Can you give me a week to try to move Karros? And he said, absolutely. I couldn't move Eric. I did later on. Eric's another guy with great character, but he was towards the end of his career. Jimmy, I remember going to the driving range near my house after one of those days. Let's just say I swung the club a little harder and a little faster, realizing I was probably missing out. But you know what it did more than anything? It made me recognize what we had to do better. Matt Slater, really talented guy, now with the Cardinals as an assistant GM. I elevated him from that point, made him the director of pro scouting. I don't think that existed before. I don't think that position existed. And I said, Matty, all your role is going to be is to make sure guys get seen so this never happens. And I said to him, I will guarantee you David Ortiz becomes a good player, but I'm not going to do it because it would be the wrong first move. We ended up making some really good trades from that point. And I think it was because of the misfortune of not being able to do that deal.
Right. It's amazing if you think about if David Ortiz was a Dodger instead of a Red Sox, like unbelievable. You might still be the GM. No.
I tell you one thing. I would have had a lot of people in Latin America really liking the Dodgers.
For sure.